Chatting with Ockert Janse from Rensburg, he is Motus CEO. We had results for 6 months ending December. It saw revenue up 3%, HEPS up 19%, dividend up 25%. Ockert, appreciate the time. A really strong period. I mean, notwithstanding cheaper car imports or the like, Motus doing very well and seeing volumes increase in the local market.
Thank you very much, Simon, and glad to talk to you and your listeners. I think, yes, that overall the group has certainly been able to gain, from that momentum that we've had in 2025 into our new financial year. And you're right, we've been able to, get good strategic focus and operational discipline to improve those sales volumes. That certainly helped. And as you were just speaking, I was thinking about, just SA and how buoyant this market has been. So, we haven't had good SA numbers for a while. So if it's there, you also need to make the most of it. And we've certainly been able to take advantage of the good conditions we've had in the SA vehicle side.
You obviously do new and pre-owned vehicles. Has there been more strength in one or the other, or has it been sort of across the board more or less?
No, I think in this last period, the last 6 months, you've certainly seen that we haven't seen as strong vehicle sales on the new side probably for a decade.
Yeah.
So the new has certainly been the more dominant one. Although we also a big player into the pre-owned, and I'm glad to also have been able to report that on the pre-owned we've also increased volumes. So we've took advantage on both sides of the coin there, but pre-owned probably will in time come back again. But at the moment, I think new vehicles are certainly the one you want to be in. And
how are you managing the competition from the cheap imports, whether it be India, Asia, wherever that might be? You've got a lot of traditional brands at the same time. How do you sort of manage that threat?
Yeah, we've been able to, change our brand representation quite dramatically over the last 2 years. So where we stand today, we obviously are the importers of some of those more traditional brands like the Hyundai, Kias, Renaults. But we've also been able to participate into the new emerging brands, the more Chinese-like ones, and also Indian. And we're also the importer of Tata, which obviously just started in this last 6 months as well. So we've certainly been able to transition quite aggressively also into the more emerging brands, and that's probably why you see the volume still going up quite considerably in the 6 months, even though we have traditional, but now also the emerging. I think we play in all parts of the spectrum,
and that's the strategy there. And look, I mean, we at group level, revenue up 3%, HEPS up 19%, at local revenue up 7%, operating profit up 22%. Nice increase in margins.
Yes, I think the margins is certainly one that we are very proud of. I think the revenue number almost doesn't make sense because it's only 3, but obviously that also includes other parts of the business and also our international businesses, while the SA revenue have gone up considerably more than that. I think it's about 8%.
Yeah.
But you're right, the margin improvement has certainly helped us. Volumes are nice, but if you have a fixed cost space, if you think about dealerships and also even in the importer space where you've been able to get better margins as exchange rates are working in your favor, you can see you can actually get better margins out of a business. And when the volumes are there, it certainly does drop all the way to the bottom line. And as you said, the HEPS just missing the 20%, but close enough to it. And I think overall we've been very pleased with the way we've been able to reduce our debt position. And our net debt to EBITDA is now suddenly in a very healthy position from where we were maybe 2 years ago.
Let's quickly touch on that. And balance sheet looking really good. Your net debt to EBITDA 1.5 times. It was 2.1 a year ago. It's a significant swing. Strong cash flows, reduced interest rates. I mean, everything helping to really position that balance sheet.
Yes, I think, and that is the nice part we've got in here as well, is that if you've been able to reduce, the pressures you had on that balance sheet, it gives you the ability to also grow and strongly going forward. And that's actually the nice part of it, is you can actually now also focus on other parts of the business that you want to grow on. You've actually got the capacity for that. And shareholders will be pleased that we have increased our dividend quite considerably by 25%. We've had share buybacks during the period, so we've had quite a pleased shareholder base today.
Vehicle rental, we hear record tourist numbers. Are you seeing this in your numbers?
Yes, we've certainly seen that international tourism is alive and well. specifically in Cape Town. So in Cape Town, we struggle to get enough vehicles at airport kiosks at the moment. So that is probably the strongest piece of it that's been growing is the international tourism. But also there you have to play across the spectrum. So we're still very strong in local tourism, obviously the corporate side, and also the replacement side for the insurance companies. So try and make sure you keep your fleet as busy as possible during the year. And we're currently sitting at about a 71% utilization. That's on an overall basis, which is very good for our business. We normally measure that if you're over 65, you're doing well. At over 70, you're actually doing excellent.
Yeah, that is a giant number. South Africa, of course, sort of 2/3 of your EBITDA. You've got the UK business as well. UK, it was mixed. There were some good parts to it, but still my sense is probably more tough than easy there.
Yes, the UK economy seems to be in a difficult position. You do find that, if you just look at the moment, business confidence are not that great in the UK. But it's also one of those bigger economies that I think over time, it is quite a reliable number that we can still get. You look at your aftermarket parts business there, it's a very defensive piece, still increasing operating profit, even though it's just marginal. But I think in time to come, it will probably turn around again. I think it's just toughening it out. I always say that the South African guys are maybe a bit tougher than the UK guys. They're not used to tough times. But I think long term, it will still be a good play for us. It's a strong business, reliable. And where those fleet, we're quite big into fleet there. So we had some fleet deals that were deferred. And hopefully those would come through later in this calendar year.
Well, Janse van Rensburg, Motus CEO, appreciate the time.